Hello, welcome to the State of the Dolphin. I'm very happy to give you some news on MySQL and of course MySQL 8. First slide, the safe harbor statement. I don't have a lot of time for this keynote, so please read it later. Who am I? Very short introduction. My name is Frédéric Descamps. I'm MySQL Community Manager here in MySQL team. So you can follow me on Twitter at Lefred. I'm living in Belgium and I have a blog post with a lot of information about MySQL. So where are we in 2021? So in 2021, MySQL 8.0.25, yes, you read it right, 8.0.25. This is the latest release. It's very fresh. So more information about that later in this keynote. 2021, as you can see in the database, in the DB Engine database ranking, MySQL is still the most open source popular database. So we are very happy. And also, but this is the one of 2020. 2021 is not yet available, but for the Stack Overflow survey with developer, we can see that MySQL is the most popular database with developer. So we are also very proud of that. So something also very important now certainly in this time and 2021 is that MySQL, it's open source and is GPL, and every component are GPL, as you can see. So we don't change license, like we have seen some a lot of information related to that everywhere. So don't worry, MySQL is GPL, and we accept contribution. More with that also at the end of the session. So what's new since the last State of the Dolphin we did here at Percona Live in October? 3 releases. So 8.0.23, 8.0.24, and 8.0.25. So I will give you a small overview of these releases. I won't go into the details everywhere, but I will give you some very key features or modification with it. So for 8.0.23, we have invisible columns. So this is a very key changer. I will show you some example in a few slides. So invisible column since 8.0.23. Query attributes, we also, like usual, pay attention on security, and we now encrypt override files, and we have also more granularity for the flush privilege. Like every release we do, we have also new GIS function. Also, we have optimize hash table in hash join, right? So with the implementation of the hash table used in the hash join, right? This is the purpose of this was to improve the performance and use less memory, and of course improve the memory control. So user don't see it, but in the background there are modifications here. Also, in ODB, this time we have faster truncate and drop table space. It's much faster one, so I recommend you to have a look at it. And you can also auto extend. You set the auto extend per table space. And we improved temp table, the temporary engine. So we also did a lot of refactoring, and users don't see it, but our developers were busy with that. So what have we done? So we extend the internal server infrastructure, and we also converted all the atomics to C++11 now. I told you we have invisible columns. Let's have a look to what it is. So if I want to check the table that don't have any primary key, so we can see here, oh, no primary key. And I think primary key is very important for InnoDB, but also for replication and so on. So if you have more information on that, we can talk later. So what I can see that test database, the table T1 has no primary key. So let's have a look at it. We can see it's true, we don't have any primary key. So let's change this. So we do an alter table, and we add an invisible column now that we're going to use as primary key. So this is how we do that. So for the application, nothing changed. The table is exactly the same. They don't see the primary key, but this is perfect for replication now, because replication will be able to use the primary key to not do scans to find the records, for example. So as you can see, application, no changes, but this primary key now is exposed if you want it and used everywhere. And this is very, very important also for group replication, where primary keys are mandatory. So in 8.0.23, we also work and keep working on replacing the old terms. So this offensive term that we don't want to see anymore in MySQL. So we 8.23, we did several changes on that and on the commands too. You may have noticed that. And also something very interesting is that we allow replication from a machine without a source, without a GTID, to a replica where GTIDs are enabled. And something very important also is that now the asynchronous connection failover also support group replication, right? So let's have a look at this particular feature because it's very interesting. So we can call a UDF to create this manage failover connection where we give a name for and then we say what type of it. So this we say, okay, we're going to be the replica of a source, which is a group replication. We give the ID of the group replication. We connect to one of the node and we give a weight like 80 for the primary and 60 for the other ones. And then we can create our replica. So this is how we create the replica. So we do the channel we have here. So I think from IDC, for example, and all it's there now. We can start the channel. And as you can see, the new terms here, start replica for channel. And it's there. Performance schema, you can have information about that. And we can see which nodes now are part of the failover mechanism. So what does that really mean? So it means that now when we have this architecture where we have an asynchronous replica that can be used for disaster recovery, for example, from a group, in a DB cluster or group application, when the primary has an issue, crash or whatever, and this asynchronous link stop to work, automatically the replica will point to the new primary. So all this is automated and automatic and transparent. So it's very nice. So we work on the server, but we also, our developer were working a lot on the shell. So we enhance import table, we enhance the admin API for 8.23, and we also improve the router with this time supports TLS endpoints for the routing connection. So 8.23, then 8.24. So 8.24, we have this improvement in the optimizer, right? Where to make it simple, the materialize subquery is materialized only once now, and this is much better for performance. Like I said, usually we have new function again in GIS, and also we have a cast between geometry types, which is very interesting too. We have also more instrumentation for data dictionary and runtime code. In ODB, now we can also control the donor timeout when there is a network failure. So also very important when we deploy in a DB cluster, for example. And we also add a new feature in security. And for example, we migrate the keyring API to a component infrastructure now, right? Now we have better messages when the client got error on wait timeout. Like usual, we work on replication, and now, for example, now you can have a skip replication as a global persistible read-only variable. So we can use set persist to modify the value of it. And in group replication, also something very useful. Now you have the IP allow list that is modified when group replication is still running. Again, shell, we improve the command line integration with arrays and stuff. Follow my blog if you want more information about that. Dump and load was wonderful, and we keep enhancing it. So the team makes a wonderful work on that. And we also improve logging with syslog and stuff like that. And router, now we only accept connection if there are destination available. If not, no need for that. So I was telling about this dump and load enhancement in the dump, just to refresh your mind here. So if you want to do a logical dump, don't think anything else than MySQL shell dump and load utility. Stop the others. As you can see here, we are much faster and everything in parallel. So this is a dump. You can see the ping one, it's MySQL shell and dump. Very fast to dump, but also very fast to load, right? And as you can see, there is no contest here. MySQL shell dump and load. It's very, very fast. And look at this difference. And this was with 8. So these benchmarks are from 8 to 21. So now it's even faster. Just because it's cool, I want to show you 65 gigabyte, one single table, in one schema, of course. I was loading it, this 65 gigabyte in 3 minutes from one machine. So my shell was on one machine and the database is another one. So there is also network connectivity here, and you can see it's very, very fast. Something else also very cool that now in the when you do load shell and dump, because I was telling you about the invisible column that we can use as a primary key, you can do a dump of schema without primary keys and load, and when you load it, create this invisible primary keys. So on 8.24, this is amazing. Like I said, 8.25, it's completely fresh. What is it? So this is an out of cycle release because we had a bug that we really wanted to fix, and we really wanted to fix it as soon as possible and not make our user wait for it. So it's there now. This is fixed. So this was an out of cycle release. But the MySQL team were not only busy with server, shell, router, we were also very busy with MDS, so MySQL Database Service on OCI, because as you know, this is 100% developed, managed, and supported by the MySQL team itself. And so what have we done there since last keynote, right? So we added more region. So you can deploy now MDS in much more different region compared to than October. Also, we added MDS HeatWave. So I don't know if you have seen it. If you didn't, I don't know where you were, but HeatWave, it's something very powerful in MDS. And as you can see, you can speed up dramatically your queries, right? 400 times faster. And so this is fire. And also, if we check HeatWave compare with MySQL Database Service, HeatWave compared to Amazon Aurora, you can see we get it sooner, of course, because MySQL 8, you have always the latest, but it's sooner, meaning that your data, it's much faster to be loaded to it. It's faster and it's cheaper. So once again, good. Redshift. So if we compare it, it's also faster and cheaper. So again, very good. But if you don't believe me, I can understand, and you want to improve your query, just sign up for a performance health check. So we can prove you that your query will be faster with MDS and HeatWave. Also, what have we done? So we added HA to MDS instance now. So we can distribute 3 instances, so across 3 different availability domains, across 3 different fault domains, right? You can do switchover, meaning that it's manual, you plan for it, or you can do failover, it's automatic and unplanned. And how complicated it is to deploy the HA on MDS? One single button. You just say, oh, I want availability, and that's it. And of course, what are we using to do our HA? We are using group replication, right? So very fast summary, one single click, automatic failover or manual if you want. This will increase your uptime. This is reduce your downtime. So RTO is just some minutes. And of course, RPO 0 with group replication, no data loss. We worked, of course, on easy solution, as you know. So we keep improving that. And these solutions are InnoDB cluster, right? And so this gives you HA with the full tolerance, and everything here is GPL and automated, right? And replica set. Replica set, it's for the people that were used to asynchronous replication and want to keep using asynchronous replication, but you can do it completely with the router, with the shell, and you can provision the data and everything. So this is, but this is not automatic, the failover, it's manual, right? What are the goals of this product is that all the components are together, they are integrated together, and it's all testing together. One single client to orchestrate everything is the shell, and all it's integrated and it also support SNS, DNSSRV. There were a session about that today too. So if you have missed it, check it on demand. So this is just example how easy it is to deploy, but I don't have time to go there. And something also very woohoo, it's there, almost there, is that now in MySQL, we have the operator for Kubernetes that is by us, by the MySQL team. So we are busy working on that too, right? So give you automated deployment and management of MySQL, the server and the router. It's self-healing, it backup and restore, it supports all that, rolling upgrade with minimal downtime, and most important, developed and supported by the MySQL team itself. So public beta will be released in a few weeks, stay tuned, and this is how it looks like. So there were also a session about it. So if you have missed it, if you're interested in it, go on demand and check it. And finally, I want to thank all our contributors. Like I said, MySQL is GPL, MySQL allow contributions. So MySQL 8.0, it's 555 contributions so far. This one were merged into MySQL 8. It's by 68 individual contributors. So no employee content, just the third parties contributors. And the top 3 are Facebook, Lorinas, and Danielle. So thank you very much, guys. These are all the contributors. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate what you are doing with MySQL, and our community is very good. So if you want to know more, or if you want to see on demand, this was the track of the MySQL community room here at Percona Live. Don't forget, we have now the possibility to get certified MySQL 8 DBA and developer. All these are available. So thank you very much. I tried to make it on time. So thank you. Bye-bye and enjoy. And you know how to find me.